I just didn't have the mic turned on entirely. It's it was worse than a mute. There was no power going to the microphone because since this is a big expensive mic, it needs its own separate power supply. Also, it was really far away from my face, but you probably would have picked it up anyways if it was at least on. I also need to switch the stuff and do the headphones. With this, I'll be able to hear when the mic's not working because I have a live monitor that lets me know when the mic's picking me up. Enjoy your hot dogs. They look great. Yeah, thank you. I melt provolone on them and then cover them in black pepper and ketchup. So what I was saying is it's probably going to take about as long as it takes me to eat these hot dogs to let the trim dry. And then after that, we'll do the second coat of trim. Probably, I actually kind of have it pre-set up. So maybe we just log into WoW and like do some maintenance as far as the characters. Make sure they don't have any mail. And I don't want to spend too long letting the second coat of trim dry because the longer we wait, the later we get the paint down, and we want to give it as much time to dry as possible before the delivery guys show up with the new washer. But yeah. So there's some interesting things here on this page. Don't really care about Hassan too much. I'm sick of hearing about him. He's the same fucking lying troll hack that he's always been. I just want to hear about him getting arrested. But since we can't hear about him getting arrested, I do want to see what the fuck that clip is. The thumbnail got me. Since we can't hear about him getting arrested, we'll hear about this other guy getting arrested. And just imagine it's Hassan. He kind of looks like a homeless version of Hassan, you know?
There's a new body cam that just dropped today that's got a lot of people talking because it features an extremely big Minecraft YouTuber named Popular MMOs.
Oh shit! I actually know that guy's name. I think we remember. I think I heard the story of him, and we're just getting the body cam now. That's probably the only reason I know that guy's name is because he's been arrested for. I think he was one of the the OG Minecraft pedos, but I could be wrong. Let's see. Let's get the actual facts here from the body cam footage. Are they actually in Minecraft? That looks like a giant Lego. I'm kidding.
Wake up, wake your ass up.
I know what that is. That's one of the little ramps.
Just put your arms like you're praying. Look on what? Like you're praying.
Yeah, this man like palm stuff.
No, I'm about to get space.
This man never prayed in his life. That's why it was like you're what?
No, I'm about to get space.
Never fucking run.
It's really sad to see someone spiral like this. Yeah, it was a really bad call to try and run away from the cops, especially in the condition he was in. He was way too fucking hammered. He was in a different dimension. He had left the corporeal realm. So when he tried to run away, it was in slow motion. He was looking like a claymation out there at 5 frames per second. So not the best call there for sure. One thing I found really weird about this, and you see it a bit at the end of the Sizzler reel where the officer goes, "It's YouTube boy," sounding like the actor from How Many Licks Does It Take to Get to the Center of a Tootsie Pop commercial, is that these officers seem to fucking hate the idea of YouTube as a career. Like, it's not something Popular MMOs himself brought up where he was like, you know, dusting his shoulder off. Yeah, I'm a YouTuber. You can let me go now. Yeah, I'm a big deal. You know, squeezing on his own nipples or anything.
I'm sure they do because I think content creation is a lot harder than people actually make it out to be. But I think it's actually one of the most difficult jobs out there. If it were so easy, everyone would do it and everyone would be successful. People just get mad that people get famous and make shit tons of money from it. But I will say that being a police officer is absolutely one of the few jobs that is way harder than being a content creator. And yet, most of these content creators, unless they're someone like Hassan or someone like Asmongold, where they're very divisive, are kind of universally loved by their audience. And cops are kind of universally hated. Like, even people that are generally pro cop are less and less pro cop by the day because cops keep doing stupid, evil shit. Not all of them, but too many of them. So I can absolutely see why they would despise a YouTuber, because this guy makes millions of dollars doing basically nothing in their eyes, and they get paid jack shit trying to keep the dregs of society in line.
He didn't bring it up. They found out, and then they start making fun of him for it and just kind of insulting it. They were just bullying him for YouTubing, like being a YouTuber. I half expected them to take him to a toilet and give him a swirly, or like an atomic wedge.
Well, yeah, because what people don't talk about often is a lot of these emergency service people, firefighters and police in particular, are actually just high school jocks that never grew out of their high school jock phase, right? They weren't really smart enough to go to college. They weren't good enough to go play college or professional sports. But they are far more physically in shape than the average person. And firefighting and police officers are both very physically demanding jobs, especially being a police officer, at least a beat cop. It doesn't really require any intelligence, and too much intelligence is a bad thing. They want you to be kind of lock and step, follow orders, and don't question things. So it's one of those things where it's like these average intelligence people or slightly below average intelligence people with above average physical prowess and below average maturity end up being firefighters and police officers. That's just the way it is. And I'm saying this as someone that was on the inside for nearly 15 years. I felt so out of place there. It was like constant locker room talk and stuff. I was just like, bro, you guys are fucking 40 and 50. How are you still talking like that? Didn't you ever grow the fuck up?
Wedgie while calling him a dork.
On March 20th, 2024, officers in Jacksonville, Florida receive reports of a man sleeping on a residential street. What they don't expect is to find one of YouTube's most popular former stars, who turns a simple wellness check into a chaotic encounter, leaving another mark on an already unraveling legacy.
You going to jail again?
Oh, so this is new stuff.
What? That
That makes no sense. Yeah.
You can Minecraft that.
It makes no fucking sense.
Kind of hog
I told you these guys aren't very smart, and they all thought it was funny. They're so dumb, they don't even know that it makes no sense.
If you're going to try and come in here with your, huge quip at the end, at least have it be something sensible. We're Ender dragging his ass to the slammer.
Well, they've never played Minecraft, so they wouldn't know about Ender pearls or anything like that, bro. I've never played. Do you need me to delete that? What was that? Oh, shit. It's an emote. I saw it on Kick first. So, it looked like a password or something. I was like, what? It looks kind of like a password on Kick because it wasn't showing up. I need to get the regular chat interface up now that I know that the platforms are live. Let me minimize that. Where are the... There we go. I need to check in on my ship, by the way. How long until I come out of hyperspace? 7 minutes. I can play if you want, making pasta really quick. Yeah, no, that's totally fine. I've got to do the next round of painting first, and then I'm probably okay. Yeah, so I'll do the next round of painting after I eat my food. Then we can log in. There's a couple things I need to send to you, and you need to craft, and you can do that while I'm doing the first coat. Now, the first coat probably takes a little bit less time than trimming does because it goes faster with the roller, but it's also not super quick. But yeah, we can get you there. All right, we'll make it work. Sounds like a
Something
plan.
like that. Better than this garbage, because this was nothing. This was literally...
Hi there. I just came home from picking my sister up at the airport, and there's a man kind of laying in the road.
Any drink or drugs, weapons involved that you know of?
I do not know.
Do you think he's trying to harm himself?
I think he might be dead, or...
An officer arrives to find a man lying on the pavement beneath a street
I
light,
think he
dressed
might be
only in
dead.
shorts and a t-shirt, despite the chilly 45-degree weather.
So
That
no
makes
one
sense.
received this call from a concerned citizen expressing that they thought this person might be dead. I half expected them to roll up and encounter a Peter Griffin.
Yeah, so because it's super cold out and he's just in shorts and a t-shirt, it makes more sense why they think he might be dead. But I'm guessing he was just passed out, drunk, taking a nap.
in death pose, but that was not the case. He looks like he was sleeping peaceful as fuck. He is sleeping like an angel right now. He looks comfortable. I am actually jealous of like how soundly this man is sleeping on the
Right?
concrete.
Hey, buddy. Hey. Hey, sheriff's office. Do you live here? Huh? Hey, wake up, man. I don't got all day for you. Wake up. Wake your ass up.
You had a bit too much drink tonight, man? You're
You
good?
live here?
Where do you live? I can't hear you, man.
I had a lot of sales roles. Sorry.
You had a lot of what?
See something girls.
He is really hammered, obviously. And his voice is really deep and like really gravelly right now, so he almost sounds like Jigsaw. If Jigsaw was sculling Fireball. Almost sounds like he's casting some kind of spell sometimes.
All right, well, hurry up, bro, because you're about to be going to jail.
I'm going to jail.
Yeah, you're sleeping on the ground.
Probably at least like 20 minutes out.
I was drinking. Friends phone.
It's so fucked up that that's a jailable offense. Like, it's just insane. If someone is sleeping on the ground, it's pretty clear indicator that they need help, not punishment. And I'm just gonna leave it at that.
I wanted to make sure I was good. That's all.
So how do you get over here?
Just drove. That's all they did.
Somebody dropped you off here?
Yeah, they dropped me off here. Yeah.
You need rescue to come check you out?
No, I'm actually fine. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, can you call Uber or somebody to come get you? Because you're in this condition, you're not even safe to walk.
So they were talking to him for like 45 seconds while he was trying to like recombobulate himself back to reality and, you know, get the sleepies out of his eyes and snap back to it. One of the officers like kind of threatens that he's going to go to jail if he doesn't like hurry up. So then he stands up, he explains that he was there drinking with friends, and now the officers are saying just get an Uber or get a friend to come over and take you home because you're in no shape to walk. Also, you're nowhere near home. It's not even walking distance, even if you're like the fastest fucking power walker in the world.
Pat?
What's your last name, Mr. Pat?
Julian, no.
Can you spell that for me?
Better known as Pat.
It's unfortunate that looking at a cop coming towards you is more scary than safe feeling. Absolutely. Like literally, I'm an Eagle Scout. I'm a firefighter. Well, I was a firefighter for nearly 15 years. I used to work side by side with cops. Never done any serious crime in my life. The worst thing I ever did was smoke a little bit of weed before it was legal. And yet, the last thing I want to see is a cop coming towards me. I would rather encounter like some fucking street thugs than a cop. What does that say about the state of policing in the country?
35-year-old Patrick Thomas Julianelle is the creator behind the massively successful YouTube channel, Popular MMOs.
Oh no, it's dead.
Dead?
Yeah, that's what it's saying. Is like that little battery alert you're getting.
Yeah.
That means it's dead. You need to charge it.
Now, one of the officers must have recognized that at the time, because then it gets brought up about him being a YouTube star a lot. So the problem is his phone's dead, which is why he doesn't have an Uber or a friend to call. Would also explain why he's walking home and then eventually, passed out on the sidewalk. So what the officers say is that they can charge his phone and he can wait in the car while he, warms up, because it's cold out.
Yeah.
Like, he's dressed like it's spring break, but it's actually pretty cold. 45 degrees in Florida, that might as well be -5 everywhere else in the world. It's tough down here when it gets below 60. So, like, he's not...
One of my friends that I grew up on the blog with, he lives down in Florida with his wife now. And every time they come in town to visit, he's like, it's like 60. Or like when we're all in Pittsburgh. It's like 60. And he's in like a fucking hoodie and shit. I'm like, bro, what are you... It's so warm today.
Proper attire for that 45-degree weather here, you're layered up in 5 different wool coats. You know
I'm
what I mean?
sure, yeah.
So the officer offers the car for it, and then that's where things go tits up.
My parents are even worse now because they live on a Caribbean island. So it can be like 70 here and they're cold.
I don't really feel like getting arrested.
I mean, no shit, dude. No one feels like getting arrested, to be fair.
Sleeping on the ground.
Yeah, no.
Multiple people are calling it in. Their person might be dead. You want to sit inside the car. It's nice and warm.
I just don't want to go to jail again.
Pat is no stranger to the justice system. On May 16, 2021, he was arrested on charges of domestic battery causing bodily harm, but the case was later dropped.
Okay.
According to multiple news reports at the time, Julianelle posted a statement on Twitter shortly after the incident that has since been deleted, claiming
So
the
it wasn't
accusations were
kitty
false.
stuff.
I vaguely
That's good.
remember bits and pieces of that story. I only recall little tiddlywinks of the details there, but it's brought up here because Pat made a mention about not wanting to go to jail again, so I guess EW followed up with what the previous time was, so they mention it here.
Place your bag on top of my hood. I just got to pat you down before you go inside my car. Place your phone right there. Okay. Just real quick, just put your hands out. You don't have no weapons, anything. You don't have anything on your bag that should be worried of. Any drugs or anything? Huh?
No, it's just called.
Do you mind if I search your bag real quick?
Officers allow Pat to warm up in the back of the cruiser while his phone charges in the front seat.
The officer gives him some pats for Patrick and then invites him into the back of the vehicle to warm up, but not before asking if he can search his bag, which Pat gives them consent to do.
You should
blunder
never...
here.
Yeah.
He got put in the...
Never consent to any searches or seizures. In fact, whenever a cop stops you, excuse me, explicitly say, I don't consent to any searches or seizures. Now, is that going to stop them? No, they're going to do it anyways, but it creates a legal paper trail, essentially. So you can deny, so you can, like, if they do end up trampling on your rights, which is unfortunately not common, I mean not uncommon these days, then you have legal recourse. If you give them permission and they find something, then you don't really have any legal recourse. You know, you let them do that. If it's, even if it's not something they were looking for, if they just happen to find something because you let them do the search, then they can arrest you for it. And especially if you're traveling and you don't know the local laws, there's all kinds of weird shit that you can get arrested for that you wouldn't think you'd be able to get arrested for. Alright, give me a sec. I got to get some ships loaded in Star Wars role-playing game stuff. Someone was attacking my satellites, and I was doing whatchamacallit, logistics in another star system when they attacked. So now I'm kind of, I probably missed them. I wasn't able to respond in time, but I'm still gonna poke my head into the star system and look to see if I can hold them accountable for shooting my shit. They're posturing about shutting down the star system and forming a blockade. And if they're actually doing that, I'm gonna fucking break it. I'm not gonna tolerate that bullshit. I've got to grab some fighters that were out for repairs. Not all of them are fully repaired, but most of them are at least partially repaired. Can I fit both of these? How much space do I have left? 13. Yeah, I can fit both of those. I'm just bringing as much stuff as I can, so if I have to fight a big old fight, I'm ready. Taking me a minute to get everything situated. Throw that in there. There's no way that fits, but I'll try it. Yeah. Okay. Alright, so then we're going to jump to the last known location. They're going to be probably gone by 2 hours by the time we... Gone for 2 hours by the time we get there. But it's worth at least popping our nose in to look. Alright. We have set the hyperspace jump.
Scholar's mate, because they find marijuana and alcohol in his bag. The alcohol's not a problem, but the marijuana was. I'm guessing he forgot it was there, or he was just so intoxicated he didn't really know what he was agreeing to.
It's crazy that alcohol is the more dangerous and deadly drug, but that's not the one he gets in trouble for.
But that's about to change everything.
I think a lot of people just don't realize that marijuana is still at least kind of illegal in most places, especially on the federal level.
Weed and a ton of Fireball. Homie is messed up. That's why I asked. I knew.
New. He spelled his own last name wrong.
What's his name?
Yeah, so they checked his inventory here. They found substances they weren't super happy to find, or maybe they were happy to find. He seems to be like celebrating it.
I'm sure.
And then one of the officers
They wanted
mentioned
a
he spelled
reason
his
to
own
take
last
this
name
guy
wrong, which he's extremely fucked up. It's not super surprising. It's just really sad. This is a guy who has a history of struggling with substance abuse, as I understand it. I'm not super familiar with popular MMOs. As most of you know, I'm not the biggest Minecraft enthusiast. Like, I understand why it's like the most popular game ever. I just never got into it to that
I
level.
know he like
From what I
had
understand,
videos made
he
about
does
him.
have
That's
a
about all I
history
know.
of struggling with this addiction. And now that the officers have found the marijuana on his person, they are going to be taking him into custody. But not before one of the officers wants to make sure that this is the YouTuber he thinks it is.
The other confirms his suspicions that Pat is indeed the well-known YouTube star.
Hey, quick question for you. Did you used to play Xbox or anything like that?
Not Xbox. I never played Xbox.
You didn't have like a YouTube channel?
YouTube, yeah, but not Xbox.
What was the YouTube channel about?
Video games.
What type of video games?
Minecraft.
Minecraft? Oh, okay. All right, thank you.
Minecraft YouTubing.
I bet you that dude's kids used to watch him or something.
Yep, that's an additional charge, buddy. It was just going to be drugs, but now we got to charge you with cringe as well. Now that the cat's out of the bag, they start calling him YouTube Boy quite a few times. It's also really weird listening to them talk about YouTubing as a career and how, like, they don't really seem to get it, which is surprising because they're not old. Like, they have to know that there's...
No, but they're dumb. They're not scientists. They're not authors. They're beat cops. It's like if we were talking about detectives or SWAT officers, it would be something different. But these guys are like the football team rejects.
There's careers on the internet. It's not like this mystical, mythological beast anymore, this worldwide web thing.
That's YouTube Boy off Commissioner Drive.
Just checked out the bag there. I mean, there's nothing to the bag, so.
Alright, turn around real quick.
Yeah.
Just put your arms like you're praying.
Look on what?
Like you're praying.
Yeah, just like palms touching. We're not doing this.
Alright. Kill 261 fighting one. Kill 261 fighting one. Stop resisting. Stop resisting.
They
Dumbass.
decide to arrest him for the possession of marijuana, and as they're going to put him in cuffs, he tries to break away. It doesn't.
It's the
go
dumbest
very
thing you
far,
can
but
do.
hear him say something that's just extremely sad.
Fight the
He
cops
says
in the
he's
courts,
tired
not on
of
the
it
streets.
all before they bring him to the ground. They also said that he was resisting with violence, claiming that he kicked them. I didn't really see that in the body cam because it looks like they kind of potato sacked him immediately. It's not like he got very far and he was already really
I wouldn't
unsteady
be
on his feet,
surprised
but
if
that
he
is
did
part of
kick
this.
them, though.
I can't confirm or deny if there were any kicks being thrown. All I know is that the trying to run away was a terrible idea.
Yeah.
Like, even if he was in, prime shape right now, not super fucked up, even if he had all the makings of a varsity athlete, he was still not going to get far there. They had already had his arms behind his back. Unless he had like an ender pearl to throw to get out of there, I think his goose was cooked on that plan.
He's big on, well, used to be big on YouTube.
Playing Minecraft.
And my party would do
But he made a lot of money.
what is he doing here? Say a friend dropped him off.
He
But it doesn't
likes
make
to party
sense.
with strippers. So he,
He likes the party with
no,
strippers.
he died off about a year and a half ago. Millions. I looked him up on YouTube before. You won't believe who it is, Sarge. Who is it? It's YouTube Boy.
I just find that so strange because it's not like this is some kind of like oddball career. It's like the number one thing kids want to be these days
Right.
is like a YouTuber and
It's
shit. Like,
just-
there's no way.
It's just people that are stuck in an archaic mentality. They don't realize that the number one economy in the world right now is the digital economy. They just don't understand that.
way they could be that in the dark on it, where they're acting like it's such a foreign concept of making money online, playing video games. Now they're calling him YouTube Boy, like some kind of wacky, zany alien creature. I don't know, just very surprising to me, because this is just like, it's Florida. They're not in like podunk middle of nowhere where they don't have internet access or something. I don't know, I just found that behavior very surprising, I suppose.
It doesn't surprise me one bit. I love Charlie. He's super entertaining. He's got some great takes. The dude has some of the best one-liners of anyone I've ever heard. He had a weird phase where he was relying on Goatsy way too much. Like every single video he'd be referencing Goatsy for like, well, it felt like 3 months. But other than that, he's got some absolutely great one-liners. But he's not exactly the sharpest, most self-aware dude. And I think his whole debate with Sneeko really demonstrated that. To be fair, Sneeko pulled one over on him. The guy didn't even know that it was being recorded or whatever. He thought he was just having a conversation, trying to get Sneeko on, like, to kind of see reason, but at the same time, he said some really dumb shit in that conversation, and I didn't really. He kind of made excuses rather than just acknowledging it, and said like, "Oh, it was misinterpreted what I said." I'm like, I don't know, man. You like stated it pretty clearly there, but overall, I think Charlie's just a simple guy, so he never really put a lot of thought into those conversations they were having. He's very much a surface level dude, and I appreciate and respect him for that. But it doesn't surprise me at all that he doesn't understand what's going on here.
Game. Yeah, the Jaguar game. The Jag game.
In 2022, Pat and 2 others were arrested after one of them ran onto the field during a Jacksonville Jaguars football game. He received a withhold of adjudication and a sentence of 2 days in jail with 2 days credit for time served.
Oh, that's what I remember him from.
That is an interesting plan. I have to imagine alcohol was involved with that decision making.
I remember the video that talked about that.
You gotta resist him. Yeah. You're going to jail.
Again.
You can Minecraft that.
35
That makes no
Pat
sense.
Thomas Julianell was formally charged with resisting an officer.
I mean, I guess
violence,
technically
as well as
you
possession of
could. Oh, those are some beautiful nugs right there. I mean, I guess technically you could, because you could like make a jail in Minecraft and then have someone roleplay arresting you. So theoretically, you could Minecraft that. But the guys didn't really know that, I'm pretty sure, when they said that. They were just taking a word and saying he can blank that. And that's like the level of humor their pea-sized pig brains can accomplish.
of marijuana under 20 grams. 2024, he was declared indigent, meaning a determination was made that he couldn't afford a private attorney, and he was appointed a public defender.
This part
dude fell off hard.
Like a child watching the Pokemon movie.
Yeah, that part I will agree with. That shocked me a little bit. I thought, especially with all that bud on him, it's like, I thought maybe the guy was like, maybe he had some investments he was living off of, or like old friends that were propping him up a little bit. Like, who'd he get drunk with? Right? He said he was drinking with friends, but no, it seems like the guy is just literally at rock bottom, and maybe he didn't have a place to go that night, or instead of just like accidentally falling asleep while drunk because he wanted to take a nap.
First time when Ash gets turned to stone, I had my jaw on the floor here. That he would be declared indigent and unable to afford a private attorney. He did undoubtedly make millions of dollars from his career on YouTube.
Millions.
Making Minecraft content, being the size
dude should have
he
been.
definitely did make millions.
Dude could have been set for life if he just invested a small portion of it. Throw that shit in the S&P 500. Throw that shit in Ethereum, Bitcoin. Buy some real estate. invest in gold, anything. You'd be able to live for the rest of your life, probably.
To have
Never
money
working
left to
another
afford
day.
An attorney is mind-boggling. That's just tragic. And I know that happens a lot where a superstar pisses away all their money in a very short amount of time, but that is an unbelievable amount of money to somehow not have access to at all anymore.
Well,
It's
I'm
just
sure
all
his
gone.
previous
All
legal
just dried
costs
up.
didn't help.
Holy shit.
He initially entered a plea of not
Depending on like how much you fight in court, your legal costs could be like $500,000 sometimes. So he's got 2 previous legal cases, so who knows what he spent on those, right?
guilty, but later accepted a plea deal on November 20th, 2024, to the Police Memorial Fund and write an apology to the officer he assaulted. However, on January 8th, 2025, he was found to have violated his probation due to substance-related issues after failing a drug test on December 20th.
Bro, look at that. It's a Christmas tree. MDMA, ecstasy, cocaine, and benzos. Dude is just going hard constantly. No wonder he has no money. He's just pumping himself full of junk all day, every day. What's up, Sidewinder Spirit Weaver? How you doing? I want to live for the rest of my life. Me too, bro. Great to see you. How's life? We got to get some shout outs. We got some OGs here in the chat. First of all, we got Snow Ninja. One of the earliest supporters of my channel. We've been friends for years now. It was like Dead by Daylight back in the day, but now WoW Classic Hardcore plays a lot of the Death Note game, Schedule 1. Absolutely awesome, fiery Latina content. Check that out. Then we got Sidewinder Spirit Weaver, one of the Eve OGs. 420 friendly dude. If I got a message that I needed to, that I probably, I have a lot of messages that I need to respond to. We're not going as late as normal. We'll let the clip finish real quick.
Fair shot. And then what I'm probably gonna do, I've been thinking about it, what I'll probably do is
we have a really chill dude, Sidewinder, Spirit Weaver, Eve content OG, does some uplifting mental health streams as well. Just really cool, chill chats. Great dude to hang out with. He says, need to make calls soon, but my hands don't want to use the phone. I understand that. I hate making phone calls. Still recovering from surgery. It's less painful. Mostly feels weird. Well, I'm glad the pain's going away. I hope you recover quickly and you are continuing on that path. That stuff kind of always feels weird. You know, I have 2 metal screws in my ankle from when I played football in high school, and I can still feel them sometimes. So it depending on the surgery, it might not ever stop feeling weird, but well, it hasn't hurt in many years. It used to hurt when the weather would change, but it doesn't do that anymore, so that's good. I probably was very drunk or had no teeth, hard to tell. Hernia? Oh, ooh, that's rough. My dad had one of those. I never experienced it for myself, but I've witnessed how painful those can be, so I'm glad the pain's going away. That's not something I would wish on anyone.
24. Pat claimed he was given a pill at a party several days earlier and didn't realize what was in it.
After the plea deal, he had some of the charges dropped and had...
Why the fuck would you take it then? That's such a stupid defense. Yeah, so I was popping pills, but I didn't know what they were. Okay, so you like knew you were doing drugs? Well, yeah, but I didn't know what drugs I was doing. Oh, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Had some stipulations and probation, which he did subsequently violate after he claims he got served a pill at a party and didn't know what was in it. So it's not
Why
like-
would you be partying on probation? I mean, I guess it's the life of an addict, right? The dude has substance abuse issues that he just can't get over. You need to walk away from that entirely, though. You can't, especially when you're on thin ice like that. That's when you need to be like, you know what? I am going to go walk the Appalachian Trail or some shit like that.
Things have been looking up for him. It's not like he's, getting the help he needs. He's still very much struggling with it. And even to this day, it seems, is still having problems with the law and having problems with drugs and alcohol.
This violation.
And here's the thing. I don't think this guy should really be arrested for anything he did. Like, what did he do that was harming anyone else? Nothing. This guy needs help, not punishment. Put him in rehab instead of jail, and society would be better for it. It would probably cost us less money, too. Reminds me of the lie that there was this stuff that looked like it could be something. Turned out it was just some wax flakes. Works it ever. Nice. I made a AI song for 420 last year. Didn't do it this year, but 420 last year, where it was set in the Fallout universe, and the theme of the song was this guy was just picking up random plants and things and smoking them and seeing what happened and being like Fallout wackiness. One of them gave him wings and he started flying, and then he landed next to some Brahmins and started mooing along with them. The song is fucking hilarious. They could just skip arresting and such, just issue him summons and have him report in daily until then. We shouldn't. So, yeah, I don't think he should have been arrested at all. But here's the thing with that is that doesn't do anything. Because if you do that, Sidewinder, Spirit Weaver, he's just going to keep doing it, what he's doing, until someone actually gets hurt, right? Because who knows when he might get behind the wheel of a car or have another violent incident, because he does have that history of domestic battery. The charges were dropped, but still, it's like where there's smoke, there's fire, usually, and especially when alcohol's involved. That most domestic abuse happens under the influence of alcohol. Maybe not most, but a significant portion of it. So the guy is clearly in need of help. You can't just let him go around without help, or he becomes a threat to society. Now, him being a threat to himself, that's kind of his own problem. I don't think we need to rescue people from themselves. In fact, I think we waste too much time and effort trying to do that. But there's also kind of an enlightened level to it above that, where if you want to prevent him from being a threat to society, the best way to do that is to help him stop being a threat to himself, right? So, are there some people that we just need to lock up and throw away the key? Absolutely, because they can't be saved. They don't want to be saved. I think one of the big things we need to do is bring back insane asylums, and we need to absolutely have much better patient care than they did in the past. But there are too many mentally ill people, too many absolute degenerate drug abusers out there, just utterly tearing society apart. So we need to find some way to sequester them and either get them help for the ones that can be helped, or put them in a place where they can be relatively safe and taken care of without ruining the lives of everyone around them. Landed on sub and then add CE time story was cut off. Yeah, Twitch sucks for that. If you want to watch on Kick, there's no ads on Kick. We've been moving more and more towards Kick as Twitch goes more and more downhill. And it's crazy how even though no one gets ad revenue anymore, they still make you run ads, or you get the pre-roll ad, which you don't get any cut of, and which is just very abusive to streamers in my opinion. And also I think pre-roll ads are bad for small streamers, because personally, if every time I go into someone's chat I get a pre-roll ad, I generally stop going into their chat. I feel like one of the reasons I don't watch Twitch anymore is because the ads are so damn frustrating. I watch way more YouTube than I watch Twitch now, because I just ad block the ads on YouTube, but they don't ad blocks don't work on Twitch, at least not the ones that I have. So it's just like, well, fuck, man. Go watch on Kick. Unless you want to subscribe or get Turbo. If they do a deal on Turbo, I don't think they're going to do a deal on Turbo, but I do suggest, if you watch a lot of Twitch, absolutely go get Turbo before you subscribe to someone, because that's the best bang for your buck. But really, the best way, in my opinion, to deal with ads on Twitch is to just watch streamers on Kick, because most people are multi-streaming these days. At least a lot of people are. I wonder if we could have some sort of sheltering system so they get help, sort of like rehabs, but more than that. Yeah, I think that's exactly what we need. If we do, it needs to be, absolutely needs to be strongly regulated. And it needs to be, I don't like the word regulated, because people use that wrong, kind of. It needs to be, there needs to be a powerful standard of ethics and standard operating procedures, and there needs to be a lot of oversight too. We can't just lock people away in a dark, dim box with a fucking mask over their face and in one of those insane asylum coats, whatever they're called. That's just absolute insane mistreatment. But we really can't have them roaming around destroying society anymore, especially in like California and New York, where like the cops will arrest the same guy 3 times in a week for shoplifting because they don't punish crimes there. Like, no wonder those cities are going downhill so fast. It's absolutely insane. If you don't hold people accountable for their actions, they're not going to stop their evil actions. They're just going to keep doing it as long as they feel like they can get away with it. So I need to go paint the floor now. We're going to switch to the phone. The stream is going to stop for about 10, 20 seconds, but then we'll be right back on the phone. Give me a moment, chat. Regulated like the Wild West. They have to be watched and investigated often. I just don't like the word regulated because people use it the wrong way in the Constitution. But yeah, patients need to be protected. The thing is that even now it's barely overseen. Take a long time for them to catch this one in a set of places like Texas. Every state has their fucked up shit. So the reason I don't like regulated is because it's in the amendment, the Second Amendment of the Constitution, but in that it means a different thing than it does in the modern lexicon, which is the way you used it right there. People use regulations in modern language to mean restrictions, but that's not what it meant in the language that the framers used for the Constitution. What it meant was maintenance, essentially. Equipment and maintenance. And the reason you can... it's really easy to figure this out if you do word replacement, right? If you take the modern definition of regulation, which is restriction, and put it into the Second Amendment, it makes literally no sense. A well-restricted militia necessary to a free state or something. I forget the exact. Let's get it exact, because we're talking about how important language is here. Second Amendment. Fuck the AI bull. Oh, guys, I learned something today. You can get rid of the AI results, or at least most of them, by typing -AI when you use a search. All right. A well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. They tried to make this as clear as possible. And basically what this means in the modern lexicon is ain't no fucking way you are letting you take away their guns. But if you use word replacement, a well-restricted militia, it ends up meaning exactly the opposite. And it makes no sense. How is a restricted militia going to secure a free state? It's not. If it's restricted, it's going to do exactly the opposite. But when you put a well-equipped and maintained militia in there, being necessary to the security of a free state, that makes perfect sense. So in the initial writing of the Constitution, they said the ability of the people to have this equipment and firearms and to keep and maintain them is very important. And in the times when the Bill of Rights was written and signed, that's what regulation meant. Regulation meant getting your kit ready, essentially. So a well-kitted out militia being necessary to the security of the free state. See how that makes so much more sense? That's why I don't like the word regulation, just because people end up using it as, it's like a bit of a, it's similar to the greater good argument, where people are like, oh, we need to regulate it to keep people safe. It's like, well, no, generally regulations don't make people safe. They just impede on individual rights. We do need oversight. We need ethics and standards, but I don't like the word regulation at all, because usually anyone that wants to regulate something wants to actually destroy it or cripple it. All right. Yeah, I don't like modern usage usually. Yeah. Especially since modern usage seems to just change. Exactly. I prefer words to be known so we don't get confused. Communication is it. Yeah, that's why I'm very specific about which words I use and how and when I use them. Of course, I make mistakes. We're all human, right? I'm trying to stop using the ACTUALL word, because that word pisses me off. It means literally nothing. It's just a filler word that makes you sound obnoxious and holier than thou. So I'm doing my best to get rid of it. But we all have growth patterns. Wiener, I love that word. I just shoved 3 wieners in my mouth, but you missed it, Medi. Speaking of other OGs of the chat, we got Medicated Outrage. I don't know if you can see it. Oops, wrong thing. I did that on purpose. It'd be kind of funny if I did that accidentally. You guys ever be talking about something to someone and you're like writing a message, and then somehow your message, it just has random words in it from what you were talking about? I'm very bad at multitasking. Yep. Yeah, guys, please check out Medicated Outrage. Long time fan and friend of the channel, top tier content creator, super chill, 420 friendly, unlike this body cam video right here where the dude gets busted for less than 20 grams of weed, which is like nothing, to be honest. Yeah, playing Fallout 76, doing all kinds of MMO. Definitely stop by, give that man a follow. Before we switch, we got like 30 seconds of this video. Let's see what the last 30 seconds of it are.
Led to a warrant for his arrest issued on January 10th, 2025. On February 2nd, 2025, police responded to Pat's home address in reference to a mentally ill person, where he then was arrested for the active warrant. His probation was subsequently modified to include GPS monitoring and completion of an inpatient treatment program. On May 12th, 2025, a warrant was issued for his arrest due to a second violation
Oh
of
my
probation
God.
when he submitted
See,
a
this is
urine
what I'm
sample
saying.
which tested positive.
That's what I was saying, Simon. We didn't even watch it. But I'm telling you, you can't just like give this guy what did you say? A summons and have him report in daily, because he doesn't do it. Like literally they've done that 3 or 4 times and he just keeps doing it over and over and over again. At some point you just got to say, you know what? We're going to put you in a padded room and we're going to have you talk to a doctor until you're okay to go out in public again.
For marijuana and alcohol.
Yeah, so it is still an ongoing issue, a huge battle he's still engaged in here. It needs professional help.
I was going to say, you're not helping this man by letting him continue like that. Like, there's an old saying, which I don't necessarily agree with in terms of, like, physical corporeal punishment. I don't think you should ever hit a child. The one time I would say it's okay is, like, if a child is seriously hitting you, you can like give them a light bop, because they should learn that if you put hands on someone, they're going to put hands back on you. But 99.9% of situations, you should never hit a child. It's not okay to use beating a child as punishment. I believe there are so many better ways to deal with that. But metaphorically, spare the rod, spoil the child. If you don't hold people accountable for their actions and make them realize that actions have consequences, like grounding them so they can't play Minecraft for a week or something, or things like that, like that's way more effective than beating them with a belt. Like, if you beat them with a belt, they're just gonna hate you and probably grow up and do the same thing to their kids. If you tell them, well, because you went and lied to me about this, you can't play Minecraft for a week. The next time before they lie again, they're gonna be like, bro, but Minecraft. Nah, I ain't gonna lie. Like, not always. There's always a bad apple. You know, I've seen families that they have like 7 children. All of them grow up great, and one just decides to go the other direction. Sometimes there's really legitimately nothing you can do. You can't save a person from themselves. But someone like this, they're not gonna be able to save themselves if you just keep tossing them back into the environment that destroyed them. You need to give them the opportunity to grow and heal. A scab will never heal as long as you continue to pick it. So that spare the rod, spoil the child, that goes 10 times for adults, right? If they have not learned to be accountable to their actions by the time they're an adult, then you really need to bring the hammer down on them.
Help for sure, because it's ruining his life. Like, his life has been circling the drain, it seems, and it's fucking rough to see. But anyway, I saw this body cam today and just wanted to talk about it a bit. That's really it. See ya. All
right. So we're going to switch back. We got some painting to do, and just going to be dude, that thumbnail goes kind of hard, actually. We got some painting to do. We're gonna pause the stream for just a moment. We'll be right back on the phone, though. It shouldn't be down any longer than like 10 seconds. Give me a moment right here. Where the screen cannot be rotated. Wait, is it going the wrong way? Shit. Why did it...